Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. We have 18 listings. There's 19 in the list. One's a duplicate from yesterday in Dorset Park that's been hanging around for a while on McNabb. But there's some good ones here and a couple hidden gems that I think are great opportunities. Now, this one on Woodward, I've been in this home before. It's not without its flaws. I mean, if you go inside, there's work to be done. It has a detached garage, but it's huge. It's really big. And this is cheaper than a townhouse. So if you came in, even put $50,000, $100,000 in, I feel like the value is justified. There's a back room here. I mean, it just doesn't look that sexy from the pictures. You've got these little embedded, they're like old electric baseboard heaters. There's some sloping issues. I mean, grading and things like that. But I see a lot of potential here, even for a two-family style living, because I think what happened was there was a situation where maybe two grown adults were on the main floor, and they kind of each had their own bathroom. And I don't know, there's some cool stuff with this one, and location's great. It's a bit of a busier street, but the surroundings are really, really nice looking. So this one gets a thumbs up. I'm surprised it's not sold. Now, yesterday we had this model for sale, same as Cooper, so it's 1130 square feet. That one was $550, holding back on offers. I don't think they're going to get a ton of action on it. Maybe if they get one or two offers. So this one's $574.9. All they're banking on is just more and better upgrades. And I really think that I don't know if they have a shot at $574, but maybe, because there's this thing called a model home premium that if you look really sexy, people pay retail instead of wholesale price. And so what they did, I wouldn't be surprised if at least part of it is justified and validated. It's a great looking home. So this one on McDowell, there's no pictures up yet. Huge opportunity. It's a Croftside model. If you check the virtual tour, you can see the pictures. It looks like it's in good shape. It probably needs a roof. It needs a little bit of exterior wood, which has been rotted. It's what happens with age. Unfinished basement, and it backs onto green space. One almost the same home, I thought in worse shape than this one, just sold for $605, siding onto green space, siding onto a park. I think there's advantages with this one, and I think the $605 sale price was pretty low too. So this one represents a really, really good opportunity given what else has been selling. So once again, comparative value comes into play. I don't know what they were trying to do here. I think maybe they were trying to show the pie-shaped lot right here and the longer driveway. But I think your first shot kind of has to be a little bit more head-on, maybe not so abstract. But $750 for more than 2,000 square foot semi. It's in good shape. It's got a nice layout. Just the finishes are solid. Tray ceiling in the master, so you get a higher ceiling there. And, you've got a finished basement, which they didn't list in the description. And it's a nice one, too. So it says full, but if it's finished, it should say full finished. Full means that it occupies the entire footprint of the house. And $750 is a good price. There's advantages for $750 over $749.9, let's say, because you're in two different price ranges. That's a break point on price. And so if you put it there, then you're going to be in both. Now, the joke I always have about that is no buyer ever buys. So you're going to be the first one from $750 to, let's say, $800. If you're qualified up to $800, how many people do you know that buy at $750? There's not many. There's some, but there's not many. Most buyers are trying to squeeze every last house out of the budget that they have. So good. So everything's hitting here. And then if you look at something like this on Hawes, same street, right? $769 here. Now this one's a pie-shaped lot. And I believe this might be the same floor plan. It's hard to tell, but the finishes are not the same as the other one, and there's $19,000 difference. And even the presentation of the lot, you can see a drastic difference in having a drone. So having a drone and then having something like this where there's just kind of a few shots here and there, it's obvious which one's the better choice. Now, I like the price on this one on Costigan, 2,400 square feet plus a finished basement for $839. And we've seen a couple like on Trudeau and everything else that these have really, I mean, used to be high nines to get something like this. They've really kind of come back down to earth. And I think of this home like kind of 50 shades of brown. There's a lot of brown in here. It's in nice shape. I think that, they've got everything covered as far as things that you'd want. But you have like almost kind of a honey brown here. And then you have, it looks like different floors in each of the bedrooms. And then you've got kind of a more walnutty floor in the basement. The front door is brown and all that kind of stuff. So it's in good shape. There's a lot of things you can do with paint colors to kind of make things complement. And but for what it is, for the size, for what looks like a well cared for home, 9-foot ceilings on the main floor, all that kind of stuff, I think it's a good deal. Now, I like this one on Alexander. They listed it as less than 2,000 square feet. I think it's more, but it's hard to tell just from the pictures what model it is. What I like about this one is that you have, it's a little hard to kind of see, but what you have in this home is a side-by-side family room and dining room. And so it's kind of separated by this wall here. And then in the back of the house, you have a kitchen with an eat-in. It's a clever layout, and it's something that most of the time what you see is you've got a garage, then you do living dining, then there's a kitchen, then there's family room. It's kind of like you'll see it all the time. I like this one because it's a little bit different. You can see how things are set up. It's just kind of non-traditional, and you got to be careful how you arrange your furniture, but there's not a lot of wasted space in this one. There's nice looking finishes. The counter's been upgraded, and everything. Bathroom's been upgraded. I'm pretty sure I sold this home about 10 or 12 years ago, but I'd have to go back and check. And then you have what looks like potentially some green space behind. This is probably on the south end of Alexander, which means there are some train tracks nearby. There's also sometimes some influence with James Snow Parkway, although I think this one, it says fronting on the east, so there's probably more of a chance that right behind there is James Snow. So lack of neighbors, but busier street. So with Etheridge, everybody pumps this whole French Chateau thing. I don't know. This is Mattamy. This is Milton. This is not French Chateau. I mean, I like the wording. It sounds nice, but it's just not the right description of what a Mattamy house is. Great example here of very good light fixtures. It costs a bit of money, but for what you'd pay for these 3 lights or another light, compared to the cost of a countertop or a floor, I find the lighting sometimes can make a bigger impact. So it is one of the best investments you can make in a house. They've got these kind of modern cabinets, just kind of flat face, and you got to be careful that's a little too trendy. It's a small family room too. It's kind of open concept, but it's not. There's like these skinny, narrow rooms in this floor plan. That's the front there. Hardwood on a 45 is nice, but this here is one of the things that a lot of people do not upgrade. I don't know if they're offering them standard. I haven't been in the Mattamy sales office in a long time because I think what they're doing, how they're selling, and the prices that they're asking, I think are not in line with what I see as viable. But you're buying from floor plans, 2-dimensional objects, and a lot of people don't think, okay, normally this is just a big drywall wall. If this is an open staircase, it lets more light in. It looks so much better. It kind of lets your upstairs breathe. It's a great upgrade. Other great upgrades, 9-foot ceilings is good. Anytime you can increase structural things, so size of windows, always a good thing to do. Countertops, floors, you can do those aftermarket. It's not a big deal. Kitchen cabinets, good upgrade, okay? So you can put your backsplash, do all that stuff, but your cabinets need to be good. Tiles, those kind of things, don't scrimp on those things. They make a big difference. And to put a fence in here is probably $1,000 to $1,500 if you're sharing the cost with your neighbors. Now the last one is this one on fouls. We're going over to the Ortis list, which I don't often do. If you're an agent and you just put a home on Ortis, on the second MLS system, kind of like the ugly stepchild, if you want to call it that, it's a great MLS system functionally, but it just doesn't have the volume of listings. And it, when you go out to Cambridge, Kitchener, all these areas, this is the system they use. But you have this transition period in Milton and Oakville where there's two overlapping MLS districts. Toronto probably has 80% of the listings. This system probably has 30 or 40. Why does that not add up to 100? Because some of them overlap. Some of them have two different listings. Whenever we list a home in Milton, we put it on both systems because there's more exposure. When those listings migrate over to Realtor.ca, what you end up with is two different listings there. So this is a Ashfield or a Cherrywood. There's a couple different names for it, but it's 1051 square feet. You can see the pergola right here. There is an episode of Milton Daily Homes where they called it a pagoda. That's not correct because a pagoda is a building. I'll have Sharon put a picture of a pagoda here, but it's kind of those traditional kind of Asian buildings. That's a pagoda. Anyway, pretty quiet street here. I like fouls because you have green space at the end of the street. Very dark pictures here. And there's dark colors. So you combine the two of them, you just don't get a strong impression. And they also have, this was the thing that made me talk about this. They have a fireplace on the wall, but it's not a fireplace. It's just 4 pieces of wood that are stuck together on the wall. I mean, at least you could draw a painting. You could put a little picture of fire. I don't know, but it's just, I don't know what that's doing there. Maybe there was something, and before selling they took it out, or I have no idea. But that is a bizarre thing. And all of a sudden we have daytime shots. So I don't know if the photographer slept over at the house and maybe woke up and said, "Hey, I'm not done what I need to do here." Then we go back to dark. There's a light. There's also a shower head picture too. That's kind of nice, although there's little gaps in the crown molding here that probably want to be rectified. And let's have a look for that shower head. Oh, and I don't know if that's wallpaper or if it's tile. I don't know what that is. I don't know how it would look in person. There's 2 bedroom upstairs. There's 1 full bathroom with that shower head. Make sure you include that in your offer because I've had people take shower heads before. You have to be thorough when you make an offer. Anyway, that's at the end of the street there, the tennis courts. Depending on where you are on Fells, sometimes you get some nice views of that escarpment. You get a nice sunset off the escarpment. So that's the list. If you have any questions, reach out to us. And there you go. We'll see you tomorrow.